Hey, hi everyone. So we are talking about GitHub Copilot today. So this is the UI of GitHub Copilot, wherein you need to create a repository, and there are certain prerequisites to use GitHub Copilot. First is you need to have a GitHub account, followed by having an extension of GitHub Copilot. Then you need to have Python installed. Also, Jira access need to be there along with its access token. These are certain prerequisites, which is just a one-time activity. Once this is done, your automation and your fetching of data within seconds from GitHub Copilot is can be done swiftly. So this is my repository which I have created within GitHub Copilot within GitHub, and this is my Jira integration py file. All this has been created within Visual Studio. So Visual Studio is my editor. So within Visual Studio, I have created a folder for GitHub requirements. To call GitHub Copilot, we just need to press Control I. So this is how we can use GitHub Copilot. So even if you have sticky notes, some information in sticky notes, you can just type that information and it will give you a PRD for that. It will craft a product roadmap for you, small details. Even from requirements, you can have requirements here. Now suppose you have to create user stories from the requirement. I'll go on Control I. I'll say create a user story to to validate the payloads API being called for payment, add acceptance criteria and API payloads. So as I clicked on enter, it shows generating. So we can see that the user story is auto getting created. The acceptance criteria is there. We have the payload request parameters. We have the response parameters, the error handling. So at times the technical specifications become very difficult. So this can be achieved by GitHub Copilot. So as I just get it, I can discard it or I can accept it. So I'll click on accept. I'll just quickly give it a glance, just to be assured that it is what I was expecting. I'll go to file, I'll click on save, or we can directly click on Control S. So here I'll go to the location where my file is placed initially. Then I call git. These are the commands which need to be triggered every time a new user story is being pushed. Now I'll go to commit the file, adding a new user story. We can see one file changed 38 insertions. Further, I'll go to the file where my Jira integration is there. If I show you this file, this is the location where my code is placed for calling the Jira integration. You need not have to get into this. It is just one time activity. And I'll call I'll activate my virtual environment. I'll type Python create hyphen Jira hyphen issues dot py. So as I click on enter, here we'll see that it's showing skipping the story. So it is generally skipping those stories which are already present in Jira. And to the very last line, we can see it says that issue created. So this is the new story which we have recently created. Now if I go on Jira, we can see that right now it is user story call payment API. If I go and refresh, If I go to backlog, we'll see that this is the 10th story. The recent story which we have created is added. Now I'll go and open it into the larger view, expanded view. So we can see that this is the user story created. This is the description. This is the acceptance criteria. We have the payload. We have the response. We have the error handling. We have the example. Everything is there. Further, I have automated within Jira the subtasks which are required by both dev and QA. So every time a user story is created, these subtasks will be auto created. So all this activity will not take more than 5 minutes for each user story. But if we will go manually into it, it will take a lot more time. So that is all about GitHub Copilot. Though initial setup will take time, but it is again a one-time activity which you need to do for your configuration setup and the environment setup. Rest is these commands which need to be triggered every time we need to create a story. That's it.